All right, everybody do us a favor and hit the like and share. All right, so as we are wrapping up Fall Camp of 2025, there are 5 players in no specific order that I want to point out that I think that, to me, has shown up to be the best players this fall. I think that we have done this now this is year 4. We have done this at the end of Fall Camp for the last 4 years since Brian Kelly has allowed us out and had the access that we have. Again, I will emphasize no specific order. Just when it came to my mind, when I'm thinking about, hey, who are the guys that have stood out to me the most, these have been the 5. I will say there are a couple of people on this list that probably deserve to be on this list, but I capped myself at 5. Let's get to them here. Gabe Reliford, the edge, the sophomore edge, is someone for me that I think continues to stand out. LSU during the offseason did something that I don't know if a lot of us thought that they would be able to do, and they did it. They went out in the transfer portal and they got a crap load of talent on defense. You went out and got Jamari Butler. You went out and got Jack Pyburn. You went out and got Patrick Payton. And in that, the question was, okay, well, you only can have 2 edge guys that start. Is it going to be Pyburn or is it going to be Payton? Is it going to be Butler? How are they going to do that? And since the spring, there's been one guy that continues to stand out. And guys, why he continues to run with the first team, that's been Gabe Reliford. Gabe has been very disruptive. I don't know how they utilize this edge room. Let me specify this. I do think that there's going to be a lot of situations where you see all 4 of them in a different capacity during different downs and different roles. Guys, Gabe's been very good against the run. He's been very good in pass rush. In spring, he was dominant. The days that he had against Weston Davis, guys, I mean, the offensive line issues started when Gabe Reliford's going up against Weston Davis and he's constantly coming down with the sack. I think that we are seeing potentially, we are potentially seeing a top 40, top 50 overall prospect in it from a recruiting class that very easily LSU just hit on, and in his sophomore year, he's figuring some shit out. Guys, I know that like Bruce Feldman comes out here with a freak list and all that stuff. This kid's 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. LSU put out that he's running 22 miles an hour. One of the strongest defensive linemen they have. Very explosive. I think Gabe Reliford is somebody that maybe hasn't had completely maybe the most dominant overall plays, but I think that he has been by far the most consistent. Guys, you're going to see a lot of number 19 and 44 at edge on early downs. And I do think that Clemson, for what it's worth, I do not know if LSU changes some things up for Clemson because it's just a completely different style, air raid. Maybe you put Gabe in different situations. Maybe you take Pyburn out and put in Patrick Payton. He's seen Clemson a couple times. I don't know how they look and what they do. What I do know is, guys, all 4 of them are going to play. And it really and truthfully, the 3 edges that you're going to roll out there consistently and what they've done since spring is Jack Pyburn, Gabe Reliford, and Patrick Payton. Now, Jack Pyburn's not on my list, but I'm also going to talk about him too. Jack Pyburn has been a very big addition for this team. He's made massive plays in the run game. He had a play here or there where he had a sack. He had a spin move on Weston Davis and got a sack on Garrett. The impact that we have seen against our offense from Gabe Reliford and Jack Pyburn in the run game, guys, we have not been that dominant or that physical on the edge in the run game. We haven't been. The difference in the things that we have seen from the mentality of Jack Pyburn and that level of intensity that he has brought, I think has not only elevated the defensive line, not only his game, I think it has drastically, and I mean this, drastically raised the level of a guy who's a younger dude in Gabe Reliford. If you talk to any player on that team along the defensive line and you ask them, hey, man, who are some guys that just really stand out to you? Gabe Reliford's name's going to constantly come up. I did not list Jack in here, but I will say this. From people that I talked to in that building, from players in that building, and from just what we see on the field, fuck up a rep and find out what's going to happen. Be on that defensive line and fuck up a rep and find out what's going to happen. And Jack will mess up. Everybody messes up. Constantly mess up and find out what's going to happen. 44 don't give a damn. That intensity level that 44 has brought, I think, has elevated that edge room beyond question. I have been very bullish. I have been very vocal on what I think this edge room can do for you. I think it's the overall deepest, and I think it's the overall best room on your team. Is Gabe Reliford going to take that step forward is going to be the next question. Can he get to the passer? Will be another question, but you've been really good in the run. All right, another defensive lineman. Bernard Gooden comes in at number 2 for me. And again, in no specific order. Guys, I have no idea how to quantify this. I wish I can spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on what I've seen from Bernard Gooden. I have absolutely no idea what to tell you. I've brought this up a couple of times. When we were able to talk to Blake Baker, I had one question that I got to ask. Coach, Bernard Gooden, go. Last week, we played that clip. You can go listen to the Blake Baker interview. Go listen to the question. I know that we clipped it and put it on our socials. Go listen to it. Every single day that we have been out there, 88's made plays. Every day. In high critical situations. Example, there was red zone periods. Bernard Gooden showing up for a tackle for loss. Drive starting out at the own 25-yard line. 3rd and 4, Bernard Gooden sack. 3rd and 5 around the 50. I got Bernard Gooden pushing DJ Chester into Garrett Nussmeier's lap. He gets flushed, and he has to throw the ball away. So many different times I have seen 88 make plays. What I think has happened here to some extent is everybody has been so focused on Don McKinley, who, speaking of somebody that everybody's high on, who hasn't been talked about a lot, Don McKinley has been that guy. Because I have no earthly idea what to quantify or say or even translate to you on this fine Wednesday evening about what Bernard Gooden's going to be for LSU in 2025. Because I don't know. I have a 6-foot, 260-pound defensive tackle that's kicked our ever-living offensive line's ass. Every day that we've been out there, he has been disruptive in the run game. He's been disruptive in the pass game. He's made Garrett Nussmeier's life a living hell. A living hell. Are we in a situation here where DJ Chester and Josh Thompson just are getting beat because of the level of speed and get off, and that has been what the problem has been? Or is this dude about to come in here and wreck some shit? Did you find another Mekhi Wingo, quote unquote? Right? Like, did you go and get another undersized defensive tackle that's just going to do some good shit for you? Maybe you have. I don't know. I don't think Bernard Gooden right now, even though he's been so freaking disruptive, I do not think that he is a 3-down defensive lineman. I don't. But you say that, and then he goes out there and he keeps making freaking plays. How does this coaching staff, with Kyle Williams, Blake Baker, all of it, how do they utilize 88 and his strengths? I think that is the biggest question mark, but there just continues to come a point in time where, guys, I got to be real with you. I have no idea what I'm saying in reference to what Bernard Gooden has been for you, because I don't know if it translates. I don't know if there's just a situation where He knows what you're calling. He knows the signs. He knows your calls. I don't know if just Josh Thompson doesn't do well against really fast, athletic defensive tackles. I don't know. The only thing I do know is either this guy's a first-team all-SEC practice player or he's going to give you a lot of production while he's in there. Guys, he just wrecks shit. I mean, he's been wrecking so much shit. Bernard Gooden comes in at number 2 for me. If you made me pick a player that's just been the overall best and made the most plays, it's been Bernard Gooden. If any media member, and I mean any media member, there's 1,724 of you in here right now. To all 1,700 of you that are in here watching live right now, if any media member comes out and says that anybody has made more plays more than Bernard Gooden, they need to go to an eye doctor and get their eyes checked, or they need to go sit at a lie detector and watch that thing go because they lying. Nobody has made more plays than number 88. So number 2 for me is Bernard Gooden. Number 3. Let me take a sip of water for this. And I might need to put in some rally pillows because we're about to have to get in a serious conversation. Guys, the player that comes in at number 3 for me is Harold Perkins. Earlier in the show, I talked about the defense, and I talked about when I come out here, what I felt like that I've done is try to limit some expectations off of what we've seen because I don't want to put out, if you just come out after every practice and say, man, this defense is going to dominate, it's going to dominate. You go to Clemson and they spank you like, oh, Blake was lying at us all camp. No, yet we ain't been lying because they've been doing it to our offense. Guys, is this finally the year for Harold? I don't know if it's going to be, but they've done some things with Perk. Since they've moved him to the star role under Blake Baker, guys, you always wanted him coming back off the edge. Here he goes. He's had multiple sacks. He's had multiple interceptions. He's had multiple PBUs. He's been disruptive in the run game. There was a time in the red zone, LSU started off at the 7-yard line, or they were at the 7-yard line. Harold Perkins comes on a blitz, hits Caden Durham in the backfield for a tackle for loss. There have been multiple times in non-scripted periods when they're just going 11 on 11, Trey'Dez Green runs an out route, and Harold Perkins, I mean, I'm not saying he could have picked it off. I think he could have. I think he could have had multiple interceptions this camp. The thing that has separated Harold, and something that we talked about when they officially moved him back to that star role, I'm pretty sure we were the ones who pretty much broke that news, by the way, but neither here nor there. Because we asked Wilson Alexander in January. I was like, Wilson, I'm hearing he's moving to star. Oh, I don't, Anyway, guys, running backs and tight ends have to block him when he comes off that edge from that slot. I don't think there's a lot of running backs and tight ends that can block 7. I just don't. If your defense is going to be as good as we think that they can be, Harold Perkins has got to play a bigger factor than almost anybody. I think he's a difference maker. When you win national titles, when you win SEC titles, when you get to a playoff, you got to have difference makers. I don't think Harold Perkins in 2022 he didn't have the players around him that can elevate his game. He had to try to elevate everybody else's game, and quite honestly, they just weren't talented enough. What happens if Mansour Delane, who has been very good in college football and has gone up against Clemson and had a lot of success, what happens when your DBs are able to lock some receivers down in situations and number 6, number 7, number 19, or number 44 are able to get 9 and or 96 are able to get after the passer? That's where I start becoming like, shit, I will run into any game with that unit if I'm able to get it. Gus Harold's just made a lot of plays. And I know that you all are tired. I know that all of you are tired of the situation of coming out here and hearing Harold Perkins this, Harold Perkins that. I know you're tired of it. You want to see it in action. Guys, I can only go off based off of what I've seen. Does Harold Perkins' really good fall camp, does that mean that he's going to be a first-team All-American? No. Does that mean he's a first-team All-SEC guy? No. What I do think that it does is it puts him in a more comfortable situation for him. And I think that Lance Guidry, the new analyst, the former defensive coordinator at Miami, I think having Lance there and having a new voice for Perk and having that voice for Perk, I think he's been able to get through to him. I think that in some things that I hear, the ACL injury made Perk really dig deep on who he is as a person. And I will tell you this. I'm not going to tell you what I know for a fact that happened. But there have been situations in this fall camp where you always face adversity from a culture standpoint inside your locker room. You're around 85 alpha males, and all of them want to go off the beat of their own drums. I have heard at least 3 stories this fall camp of not only Perk showing up on the field, but Perk and Garrett both showing up in the locker room and doing things that national title contending teams do. What I would tell you is this. If 2/3, if you just get 66%, 67% of the guy that we've seen from this fall camp hits that field on August the 30th and takes it to Clemson, guys, Harold Perkins is going to be a first-round dude. He's that talented, guys. Can he lock in? Can he stay focused? The one area that I worry about Perkins, can he stay locked in and can he stay focused when he's on the field? When he is, guys, he's arguably the best player on the field at any given moment. That will be the question. All right, number 4 for me, Trey'Dez Green. You know, I was thinking about offensively, some guys that I just feel like have stood out a lot. And I thought a lot about Bauer Sharp too. The thing with Trey'Dez Green for me is he's a freak. I think that Trey'Dez Green at the end of this camp has shown in the red zone, and he's shown when he's been out wide. Guys, he's a flat-out difference maker. I don't think that Trey'Dez has had a great camp. Let me emphasize it like this. I don't think he's had a great camp as an inline blocker. I think it's not been good for him. However, as a pass catcher, shit. I think you're going to see a lot more 12 personnel. What is 12 personnel? 2 tight ends, 1 running back. Bauer Sharp and Trey'Dez really, really, really change the dynamic of that tight end room. I just wonder how they're going to utilize him. I wonder if not being the best at the end line of scrimmage is really been I think it might hurt him. I don't know if he's going to start. I don't know, because Bauer Sharp has been more consistent there, and you need the most help that you can get in this running game. But guys, when 14's on the field, the flat honest truth, there's not a lot of people on this planet that can guard him, NFL or college. There's just not a lot. He reminds me of a tight end in what we saw in Jimmy Graham. 6'7", 240, 245. Jimmy was not a great inline blocker either, but my God, he was a difference maker. I think you could get that from him. I really do. You gotta game plan 14 into the ball game. It's a must. Not just in the red zone either. Not just in the red zone. Guys, we've seen him. We've seen him give every single corner and every single safety problems. Every one of them. Every one of them. Early in camp, he had a little bit of the dropsies. Guys, in the red zone, he's just a freak. He's a freak. I don't know what to make of Trey'Dez either, really. But the 5-star status, he's a 5-star athlete. That's for damn sure. All right. Before we get to Garrett, quickly, there's an honorable mention for me. The honorable mention of a guy that the sixth player that was debating putting on here, Braylon Moore. I think Braylon Moore has been pretty freaking good. I think the things that have happened around Braylon Moore have not been good. He doesn't have a lot of help at guard. Here's what I have been very quiet on this when asked. This is my God's honest opinion on Braylon Moore, the center from Virginia Tech. He is by far the smartest offensive lineman on that team. It's not remotely close. I have seen him religiously help Garrett out where I think Garrett needed the most help. Garrett not having to be and do everything for DJ Chester at center and calling out protections has helped Garrett. It's helped him drastically. I think Braylon Moore and him identifying certain situations, certain packages, certain blitzes, certain inside run zone stuff, he's been freaking good. Where I push back on Braylon Moore is I've not seen him be able to advance and get push against guys like Don McKinley. I think that if there is something Brian Kelly has said this fall camp that I vehemently agree with, I think 61 is a really good center. He has taken load off of Garrett Nussmeier's shoulders. Guys, I would suggest, because y'all haven't seen this, when we get into the game versus Clemson, I want you to watch something very quickly. I want you to watch 61 and everything that he calls out. I want you to see what he does. Other than a handful of times that I can remember when I'm out there, Garrett has changed a protection based off of something that he saw that Braylon Moore couldn't see. And then protection got changed. Outside of that, guys, I think that this is the smartest center that you've had since Lloyd Cushenberry that just knows the game and knows that position. He's got so many reps there. He was somebody that I wanted to put on this list. I think he's going to be good. I think he has been good. I think he needs more help from the guys to his right and to his left. He hasn't gotten the guard play that he needs. There's another thing that he does too. I think Braylon Moore has understood in certain 11-on-11 situations where the thing that I was taught was I think he cleans out the trash in pass pro very well. What do I mean? In pass pro, when a center doesn't have anybody on him, a lot of inexperienced centers will sit there and wait. What Braylon Moore has done, which is giving Garrett the ability to step up in the pocket, and we've talked about this a lot. What's given him that ability is when Braylon Moore sees that nothing's coming, he's going to go to the right guard or left guard and kind of clear out the trash so that Garrett can push that pocket, step up, and make a throw. if Garrett gets that ability a lot, guys, he's going to beat the living dog shit out of a lot of people. Garrett has that ability. DJ didn't do that for him. Why Brad Davis, Brian Kelly, Joe Sloan, whoever didn't talk about that a lot is beyond me. But he does it, and he's searching for contact. He's done a lot of the little things that a center needs to do at a very high level. Excuse me. You can tell when my kids go back to school because as soon as they go back to school, I get sick. Golly. Yes, these last 3 days, I felt like dog shit, just to be real with you. Nevertheless, Braylon Moore's been really good. He's done a very good job at cleaning out what I was taught of at that position to clean out the trash. If you give Garrett that ability to step up in the pocket, I think he's going to do some dangerous things. All right. Last but not least, before we get to a break here and then come back and talk about biggest improvements. Garrett Nussmeier. Guys, I think by far in the 5 years that Garrett Nussmeier has been at LSU, this has by far been the best camp that he's had. He has done a lot of things at the line of scrimmage that I think have been very good and very accurate in knowing what he's saying. I think he's done a very good job at sensing pressure and getting out of that pressure and running for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards. I think the biggest thing that he has done that he has not shown in the 4 years that Brian Kelly has been here that we have been allowed at practice to see, Garrett has always been turnover prone. Always. I am not saying that when you get out there on August the 30th that Garrett doesn't revert back to his own ways. It's not what I'm saying. I think that still lives in him to some extent. What I've seen from Garrett that I was always wanting to see and think that we've finally got it is that he has done such a much better job of not turning the ball over. Guys, great decisions can be made by not making a decision, by not trying to be more than what you need to be. I think that in every situation that we've seen Garrett in, whether it was all of last year, whether it was against Georgia where he had a couple of, 2-3 turnovers, whenever it was, he's always been turnover prone. What he has done at an elite level, elite, not good, not great, elite, this camp versus what I've seen him do in others. I double dog dare you not to cover Caden Durham. I double dog dare you. It's like rookie of the year with Henry Rollingardner. I double dog dare you to run. I double dog dare you not to cover him. Garrett don't give a shit right now. You play man press, you play man. He's going to look for number 3 and he's going to look for number 6. They have elite speed to stretch the field. Good. Play quarters on his ass and watch what happens. Because he's going to throw that sumbitch to 29 and he don't care. He's going to throw it to 44 or 14. He's going to throw it to 10. He's going to throw it to Bauer Sharp. This has been, without a shadow of a doubt, the best camp he's had in 5 years. Now, I wasn't there a lot because Ed didn't let people in practice, so I have no idea what he did as a true freshman. But in the 4 years that Brian Kelly has allowed the media to be there as much as he's allowed us to be there, what I would say would be this. It's not remotely close. It's just not remotely close. So the second-year starter, the experience level that he got, the bad situations that he was in a season ago, all the different situations, all of them. Guys, it just looks like he's ultimately matured. I think in that maturity level, without a doubt, gives you another win from a season ago, gives you the 9. Can Garrett elevate himself and the people around him with some struggling things in front of him to take you to that next level will be the question. Because it's been the best. I know a lot of you have labeled me for whatever it's worth to quote unquote be a Garrett Nussmeier hater. I'm not a Garrett hater. I'm a turnover hater. And I'm not talking about the pastry. I hate turnovers. I hate them. I think they're just the grossest thing that you can do as an offense. Giving the ball back will get you beat, and you will not go anywhere. I don't give a shit what your excuse is. I saw so many excuses last year. Oh, the offensive line, DJ Chester. Guys, DJ Chester didn't roll out left and throw a pass up to Aaron Anderson. Didn't roll out left and throw a pass up to Caden Durham, and those guys don't crack 6 foot. He's throwing jump balls to him. I can live with the second interception versus Texas A&M where a guy baited him. Who gives a shit? He got baited. So what? It happens. You got to eliminate the dumb mistakes. And quite honestly, he's done that. He's always had the ability. There's not been a time ever on this show or any show ever that I have ever said or anyone has ever said that he doesn't have the ability. The decision-making had to get there. Last year at this time, I got tattooed by a lot of you saying that I hated the kid. I said he turned the ball over too much. Can't turn the ball over 17 times and say that this show was wrong. You can't do it. The elimination of those turnovers is escalating him. It's making everybody around him better. I still think he needs to be better on some deep accuracy stuff. I still don't think that's been at the level that it needs to be. But damned if you do, damned if you don't with this offense if they figure it out. Because they're going to stretch the field vertically on you. Play quarters against them. I dare you.